Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Cheeky Scientist live workshop. I'm Isaiah, and today I want to talk to you about the job market. Not just the job market that you see online before you upload a resume, maybe it's Indeed.com, Nature Jobs, but the actual job market. So it turns out that 80% of the job market is hidden. And you can look this up for yourself, obviously. You're in research probably, so look at the numbers on the actual job market versus the hidden job market, okay? So if the actual job market's 100%, 80% is hidden, 20% is just a small sliver of what you're seeing online. And you might think, oh great, I found this perfect job posting. I match these skills perfectly, you upload your resume, you don't hear anything back. Very likely that job's already been filled. It might have been filled internally even months ago. A lot of companies, especially large publicly traded companies, they have to post a job online even if they've already filled it internally. So what you're looking at may not even be available. So what you need to do is start figuring out how to access this hidden job market, right? So how do you access, question mark, how do you access this hidden job market? And the answer is by networking and generating referrals, right? So if we go over here, 60% of all hires at top companies, certainly PhD, for PhD level positions, are through referrals. Now these can either be internal referrals, right? So what is a internal referral? It's when an employee at a company recommends you for an open position at that same company. They refer you for that position. Essentially what they're doing is that they're vouching for you, and they are saying, you know, I trust this person, I'd be willing to work for this person, give them an interview. Internal referrals are very, very valuable. You might say, well, why would an employee ever want to give me a referral? Because very often employees will get incentives. They'll receive $500, $1,000, sometimes $2,000 if the person they refer gets hired. All right, so that's a bargaining chip for you as a job candidate. Right? Don't confuse this number. 60%. There's other small things like occasionally somebody will get hired through other means, but really it's through referrals. And you might be asking yourself, why are companies only hiring through referrals? It's because on average it costs a company $60,000 to bring on a new employee, right? Because they have to cover all of the costs. If they're flying you out for a site visit, they're paying for hiring managers' time and money and salary to do those initial interviews with you, the phone screens, all the paperwork, the background checks they have to do, drug tests, all of these different things, calling your references. There's a lot of paperwork, and after you get hired, there's even more paperwork and more regulations and stuff that they have to go through. So it's expensive to hire somebody. Now, if it costs you that much to hire somebody, $60,000, do you want to hire somebody that somebody else has recommended, somebody else you trust, or just based on a resume, somebody you don't even know? Odds are you're going to go with the person who was referred. Right, so we talked about internal referrals, but there's also external recruiter referrals, right? So the question becomes, in terms of how to access this hidden job market, how to get referrals, right? So what comes before referrals? Networking. And this is something a lot of PhDs have a hard time with. We've given over 300 seminars and workshops in 30 different countries. In every single workshop, only out of an average room of 100, one or two people will raise their hands, one or two PhDs, when I ask how many of you have gone to an off-campus networking event in the last month, right? Very few people, PhDs, you're very busy, have time to get off campus, let alone take a train or drive a few hours away to a larger city to go to networking events. But it's something you definitely have to do. And if you can't network in person, you have to learn to network online. Now this week, tomorrow, in fact, on Thursday, January 5th, we are having a free public LinkedIn profile and networking webinar. We're also going to do a giveaway with some free LinkedIn profile makeovers from LinkedIn professionals. So if you haven't signed up for that, that information's on our Facebook fan page as well. But when it comes to networking in person, we'll talk about networking in person, and then we'll go over some quick specifics for networking online. When it comes to networking in person, the key is really just having that elevator pitch ready. Because networking in person is fairly simple. You meet somebody, and then you ask them questions about them, right? Not about you. You ask them questions, get them talking about whatever they're interested in, what they're passionate about. Let them talk for a few minutes, and when they finally say, enough about me, what about you? That's when you deliver your elevator pitch. Very simple. And your elevator pitch is something you can craft on your own, you can practice, and you can make it conversational. But no matter what your elevator pitch is or when you deliver it, there are three key questions you need to answer for every elevator pitch. And those are, who are you? What do you want? And why should anybody else but you care, right? So why should I care? So this is what everybody's thinking when you're talking to them, right? You're telling, whenever you're talking about yourself to somebody else, they're thinking, okay, who are you? What do you want? And why should I care? Most PhDs can get the first two, but they have a hard time with this last one. But it's easier than you think. When it comes to who are you, talk about who you are both professionally, right? You can mention your scientific background, your engineering background, your STEM background, non-STEM, whatever it is. You could say, for example, you could say I'm an immunology specialist, but don't forget the personal side of you. You want to humanize yourself, show that you're well-rounded. You can say I'm an immunology specialist, but I enjoy hiking on the weekends. Or, I played bass guitar in my spare time. Whatever it is, you might think that's funny or non-professional, but it's actually the one thing they will remember about you. So make sure you add something personal in there too. What do you want? This is going to depend on your audience. If you're at a networking event, you might not want to lead with the fact that you want a new job. Instead, say I'm looking to expand my network, or I'm looking to meet new people in this area, or I'm looking to have interesting conversations about this. If it's at an interview, of course you can be much more direct, because at every interview you're going to get that question, tell me a little bit about yourself. That's a great time to also deliver your elevator pitch. And in this case, when you're answering this question at an interview, you can say, I want to get into XYZ position, whatever the available position is that you're interviewing for. I want to get into a project management position. Either way, whether it's at an interview or a networking event, you want to answer this one. Why should anybody else but you care? And the best transition for this question is the word because, right? So you're at an interview, I want to get into this project management position because I've always wanted to see my scientific ideas or knowledge translated into a product, right? Or I've always wanted to learn about the business of turning science into a product or engineering into a product or whatever it is. Or I've always wanted to help expand treatments on XYZ disease. And the same goes for a networking event. I want to expand my network because I'm interested in branching out from academia and learning more about industry, right? So add that because, and that because should involve somebody else, right? It's not just about you getting a job or you fulfilling whatever goal, but what's the broader spectrum? You're interested in meeting new people in certain areas because you want to set up collaborations, or whatever it might be. You want to build professional relationships, right? So think beyond yourself. That's the key for networking in person. When it comes to networking online, it's a little bit different. The biggest mistake we see people in our association make is that they just jump right in and they start talking about themselves. You reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, you're like, hi, I see you work for this company. I would be a great fit for this open position of this company. Can you help me get a job? This is crazy. You would never go up to somebody on the street you haven't met and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, get me a job, right? So you can't do that. When you're reaching out to people online, you have to build the relationship first. You have to add value first. And networking might not come natural to you. For most of our associates, it doesn't come natural. We had a couple of associates where networking was something that was a little bit more difficult. Bishnu Joshi was one of our associates. Qingyao Yang was another one of our associates. And both of these associates, they struggled to network. They maybe were more introverted. They didn't really understand the process, but they were able to learn it, and they became really effective networkers. They in fact, Bishnu came to our Cheeky Scientist Summit. It was like a different person, shaking hands with people, talking to them, delivering his elevator pitch, and both Qingyao and Bishnu ended up getting hired into the jobs they wanted. And it was because they started networking, they started accessing this hidden job market, and they started getting referrals. Sometimes they got referrals from other associates, sometimes they got employee referrals, whatever it might have been. They got these referrals, they led to job interviews. Because studies show, and you can look up these studies yourself, that referrals, while 60% of job hires are referrals, only 7% of the job applicant pool are getting referrals, right? So 97% are just uploading resumes online and hoping for the best, right? So 93%. So only 7% of job applicants are getting referrals, right? So just by getting referrals, you increase your chances of getting hired or getting an interview dramatically. And it's also the fastest way to get hired is through a referral. You get a referral, usually within 2 weeks, you're hired. Referrals are very powerful. So if you think you can't network, you can't get referrals, you can, just like Bishnu did, just like Qingyao did. Now when it comes to networking online, again, tomorrow's webinar, it's a LinkedIn webinar, it's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't signed up yet, you can sign up on our Facebook fan page, where you're probably watching this video. We're going to talk a lot about online networking and online networking scripts. We're even going to do a giveaway for a LinkedIn profile makeover, but we're going to do a giveaway for everyone who shows up. We're going to give them a free 40 networking scripts guide where the actual scripts are written out for you. And so again, that's tomorrow. Real quickly though, I want to show you kind of the basic structure. Don't just reach out to somebody, even if you met them in person, and say, hi, thank you, it was great meeting you, can you give me a job? Don't talk about yourself. Make it all about them, especially with the first message. Right? So your subject line might be something like best coffee in town. Let's say you met him at an event, you talked about coffee, the person really likes coffee. Say, that you know about the best coffee in town, whatever it is. Anything specific. Maybe you're both in the same LinkedIn group. Doesn't matter what it is, maybe you read their paper. Mention something specific in the subject line about them, right? Because no matter how good the rest of your message is, if they don't click to open the message, it doesn't matter. So make the subject line specific and about them. So that's just a separate example. This is a great kind of script, and this is one of the many networking scripts that are in that networking script guide that we're giving out tomorrow. Very simple. Hello, John. We always get a question on, do we need to use the last name? In most cases, no. If you feel like, let's see, some MDs or whatever are very particular about using doctor or whatever, you don't need to do that. You can usually use their first name or use whatever name they put on LinkedIn, right? If they put doctor on LinkedIn or whatever it is, then use the name they put on LinkedIn. But usually you can put their first name. You can say something as simple as this. It was great meeting you at XYZ event, right? If you met him at an event before. I really enjoyed your paper on ABC. Maybe you read one of their papers, right? Look at their LinkedIn profile. Build a relationship. Take the time to find out about them. This is not manipulative, it's not stalking, it's actually you investing in building up a professional relationship, okay? Take the time to find out about them. Mention something that they've done, an accomplishment they did, right? And show appreciation for it. Appreciation is adding value, right? Saying thank you is adding value. And then simply say, keep up the great work. Now this is a great phrase because it puts you on an equal playing field. One of the biggest mistakes we see PhDs make is that they come from a less than mentality. They approach people in industry like they're begging for a job, or they're begging to be their friend or something. These people are on your level. They are your colleagues. So saying something like, I really enjoyed your paper, keep up the great work, it shows you are an equal and you see yourself as an equal. This is very important. If you say, could you please do this for me, or wow, what did you think? You have to approach it confidently as you are, as if you are already a successful industry professional yourself. Okay, and then finally, always ask a question in the PS. The PS is actually the second most read part of messages. There's actually eye tracking studies on this. The first most read part is the subject line, of course, but the second most read is the PS. This is a great place to add a simple question, make it about them, make it very easy. If you can't, make it a yes or no question, because you want them to reply, and then you can start talking more and building the relationship. If you're on LinkedIn, an easy one to say is, I saw you were also in XYZ LinkedIn group. What did you think of this thread? Right? So if you see somebody you want to network with, and see what LinkedIn groups they're in, get into those groups as well. Find an interesting thread, ask them about that thread. It's a very easy way to connect. And again, the whole purpose of connecting is to start getting referrals. And the whole reason to get referrals is so you can access this job, the hidden job market. 80% of jobs aren't even posted online, right? This is why networking, things like informational interviews, which we'll talk about later, and certainly getting referrals are important. So until the next workshop, I will see you at the next workshop. And remember, tomorrow, January 5th, it's a Thursday, 1 p.m., we are doing that free live LinkedIn webinar on how to network on LinkedIn, how to create a proper LinkedIn profile. We're doing giveaways. We'll give everyone that shows up live that networking guidebook with 40 different networking scripts, all written out for you. Effective scripts that we've seen work over and over again. If you have more questions, you can ask them here in a comment on our Facebook fan page. You can sign up for the webinar on our Facebook fan page. If you're curious about our association, which is opening up very soon, our association it's a blueprint, a proven blueprint for getting PhDs into industry jobs. It also is a private job referral network with almost 2,000 now, over 2,000 other PhDs and industry professionals in it. If you want to know more about the association, just go to phdsgethired.com. You can go to phdsgethired.com. So I'll see you next time.